Hey everyone, Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business. Today we are going to be talking about several social media blockchain platforms, and I'm going to be reviewing all of them. This will be an updated version to the previous review that I did. That was the comprehensive blockchain and alternative platforms review. In this one, I am only going to be touching on blockchain and blockchain integrated platforms. I am actually going to do a separate video and a separate review for all of the alternative platforms because there's so many more now that I am aware of that it's going to take me a while to actually get through all of that. And given that I don't believe just regular alternative social media offers as many solutions as blockchain, I want them to be separate so that you can focus on what's really, really important. Now, I've gone through and I've removed a lot of the previous ones that I had that were redundant or were not blockchain platforms or blockchain integrated platforms. And I won't be going through any of the non-recommended platforms for this video, but in this video, I will go through all of the secondary, tertiary, and primary recommendations that I make for various blockchain platforms and sort of explain my reasoning as to why I put them in those categories. I might not get through every single one, but I want to go through several of them very briefly because I don't want this video to be too long. So yeah, let's just dive into it. So first we're going to take a quick look at Tribe. I'm not sure if it was in the previous one, but essentially it is a very similar platform to Steem, and it operates a little bit more like a mix of Twitter and Medium because you've got your wall where you can post, just a small status, just a photo. It has LinkedIn, a little bit of a LinkedIn style where you can share like PowerPoints and PDFs, which most platforms don't have. So that's kind of cool that they have that. But I used to think that you could only put blogs. For a long time, I was only aware of the blogging aspect. And the reason I say it's similar to Medium is because the way that you blog and the way that the blog is laid out and everything is very similar to Medium. And you've even got like how long it takes to read the blogs, etc., similar to Medium. Although all of these have videos in them, so it's not extremely accurate with the read times. But regardless, I mean, I don't expect them to count in the video time as well. So yeah, this is a really cool platform. I've earned about 10,000 tokens over the past, few months that I've been on here. Again, I've only shared 36 blogs on here, so that's definitely not that long, considering I'm generally sharing every day or two. So, yeah, I would say maybe Tribe has been like a month, well, 2 or 3 months, not 1 month, 2 or 3 months probably is where I'll set it around, because I've been really lax using Tribe when I started off because it was pretty hard for me to get set up. That was something that I talked about previously, that it is hard to get your scatter set up and get that connected and get through that process. But the admins were very helpful, but it still was super, it was irritating. It was a struggle. It took days to figure it out. And considering I actually assume that I generally know what I'm doing for these types of things, and I have a lot more of an understanding than the average user, I just don't believe that the average user is going to be able to do this and not struggle immensely or just give up on trying. But if you're not using the platform to monetize or get crypto and you're just using it as a social media platform, then that shouldn't be an issue for you at all, and this should be great. But platforms like Steem, like Tribe, they're always going to have some bit of, like a little bit of a technical barrier of understanding that, you have to be a little more versed in blockchain and or blockchain social media to have a smooth transition to these platforms from legacy platforms. Anyways, it's a pretty cool platform. I suggest you guys check it out. There's not a lot more to say. I mean, you've got your friends, you've got a bunch of different things, you've got your notifications here. I do think it's weird that you can't change your cover, and that's kind of annoying to me, but maybe I just don't know how to do it, because there's a lot to this platform and it can get a little confusing. But again, I still think it is one of the top platforms. It's got a great community it's a really, really cool platform, lots to do. The only unfortunate thing is that they make you submit your posts for moderation, but they're saying that's only during the beta while they figure things out, and then they'll eventually get a good network set up so they don't have to moderate every post. It really, really opens the way for censorship, but I haven't seen any issues about censorship on here, and I haven't had any issues. And if they truly are going to remove the moderation, then we'll be fine in the future. But yeah, in here you would connect your scatter, and then it would show you all of your token balance. As you can see, the pre-sale has ended, so you can't jump in on that anymore. But you can join any day and start earning right away. And as you saw on my account before, I have about 10,149 tribe crypto, so pretty decent. If it goes up in value, then I'll be smiling, and you will be too if you get on this platform and get started. I shouldn't take too long on each platform. I just realized that was a really long time. So let's kind of speed this up and jump through these. So Waku and Whale Shares are Steem alternatives. The big issue here is that there's tons of issues. The big issue is that there's many issues on these platforms. Whale Shares has had scams. They had bid bots, and then now they're championing themselves as, we never have bid bots, and we don't do that. We don't believe in that. When several of the witnesses, which are the authorities on this platform, did run bid bots, and not only did they run bid bots, but they randomly stopped running them and jacked up the prices, and some of them just stopped and then basically stole your money. All of these sketchy things were happening. I addressed them. No one even cared. So I wouldn't recommend Whale Shares as a main platform. But if they work some of these things out, it could get better. And it has been good. I've been earning okay amount of money on here, and it's been okay, but it's not as engaged. It's got its problems. Like I said, when you look at Waku, similar but different. Again, you can earn, you can do well. It's similar to Steem. Well, both of these are complete rip-offs of Steem. They're Steem alternatives, as I call them. But on Whale Shares, you don't have reputation, which is interesting. On Waku, you do here. But on Waku, there's only one witness, and it's been that way, I feel like since the beginning. Oh, wow. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. They have 4 witnesses, but these 3 witnesses are the same person, I guess. It's sketchy, to say the least. It's very sketchy, to say the least. They don't have enough witnesses. They don't have enough decentralization. It's as simple as that. And I've seen Whale Shares and Waku go down. I've seen Bear Shares go down. I didn't even include Bear Shares in any of this because Bear Shares is a heavy scam site. Heavy scam site. They went through some issue that deleted everyone's posts and everyone's money and everyone's accounts, and the owner just got to have all of it. So Bear Shares is the biggest scam of all. Then Whale Shares, then Waku. Again, I wouldn't say don't join them because of these issues, because you don't have to put in money, so you don't have to get scammed. You can actually make money and eventually sell it, and there's no scam there if you're making money and you're not investing any. So it depends what you consider a scam. I invested my money, and the whole point of this is that I'm going to go and put my finances on the line so that you don't have to, and then you can hear from my experience how this went. So again, if you've got time to join copious amounts of blockchain platforms like I do, apparently, you can join Waku and Whale Shares. They were either secondary or tertiary recommendations, but you probably don't need to worry about these. The main ones, if you're like, I can only get on 1, I can only get on 2, I can only get on a couple, I would just say mine, Sola, and then Steem. as simple as that. If you want to start to flesh it out, you can go Tribe, you can look at Doc.io, you can look at BitChute and BitTube if you're trying to do more video hosting. It can expand as you go, but most people aren't really trying to get on several platforms like I have. So for Steem, this is obviously the original platform that, Waku and Whaleshares cheated and copied off of. So when you look at Steem, it is probably one of the older social media blockchains, like one of the first movers now at this point. Steem, unlike several other platforms, is fully integrated with the blockchain. So any platform that you're going to access Steem from will be completely integrated, and it'll have all of your posts, all of your details. You'll use one account that will sign into any of the interfaces that you use. One big common mistake that people have is that they think Steem and Steemit are the same thing. Steem is the blockchain. Steemit is just one of the interfaces that resides on the Steem blockchain. There's D2, Busy, Zapple, Steepshot, Fundition, many platforms. And they all are accessed by the same account because you're just using the Steem blockchain, and then it has decentralized applications built on top of it, which is what we are using to access all the different information. Steem uses reputation to ensure, as their way to uphold community moderation and to avoid, but to punish spammers. They will downvote them and flag them, and it'll lower their reputation so that their posts aren't in the main feed. And then when you get upvotes, your reputation goes up to show people that you're a trusted poster. And it just kind of moves around like that. There's been issues with people with a lot of stake abusing their power and, totally ruining people's reputations. But there's also a lot of services that will help you fix that and deal with that and try to punish people who are abusing that. But at the end of the day, Steem is an anarchy. So, if someone comes in with a lot of money, they deserve to be able to use that influence to own their share of the platform and do what they want to do. And that's just kind of how it is. You'll see people complain that, it's not fair because I have to compete with people who use bid bots and et cetera, et cetera. Well, right now, bid bots are not at all financially feasible. So you shouldn't be competing with bid bots because anyone who's using bid bots is losing money. And I don't think that's ideal for anyone. But what is interesting is if you can start getting some good content going and you have followers or people that like your content, you can make some decent money. So as you can see, all of my posts have made okay payouts over the past week. $7, $2.50, $7. It's decent. It's nothing to scoff at. And considering Steem is worth 34 cents, it's like close to a third of all these added up is what the actual US dollar value would be if I sold this. So you can make some money. And considering Steem is at like a low, like an all-time low in the past like year or two, I have high hopes that if Bitcoin goes back up, if anything goes back up, Steem is going to go back up too. Originally, people were able to make a living off of just posting on Steem. So if we can get back to that, I'm sure this platform will regain a lot of the people who probably were scrounging for some Steem and not as interested in the social side, but they'll all be back and giving you money too. So I would suggest that you check this out. It is the most viable for actually earning money and being able to sell it and then, withdraw it and get it out of the platform and put it into your bank account. This is one of the only platforms that I even know of that it's extremely easy and possible to actually do this. So for example, with Sola, it's very challenging, very costly. It takes a long time. With mines, you're not really allowed to sell your tokens unless you do it illegitimately, because the idea is that To avoid a bunch of legal issues, Minds only allows their tokens to be spent on advertising and endorsing other users and paying for their premium content and stuff like that. But they ensure that it's not really being, like traded in an exchange because of some legal thing, to avoid them from having to manage it. I can't remember what the reason was, but it was a pretty solid reason. But again, so this is Steem, pretty similar to what we looked at for Waku and Whale Shares, but it is the original mover, and it's got a massive audience and communities. I think it's like 2.5 million or something around there, but it is by far the biggest social community, has a really good rating on Alexa for traffic. Steem is doing some stuff. They're making moves. So let's move on. So now we have Minds. This is the most robust blockchain social platform. It is only partially integrated with the blockchain, but they plan to integrate it more and more with the blockchain moving forward. This platform is gaining a lot of traction, and I mean, just yesterday, the CEO, Bill Ottman, was on Joe Rogan's podcast, which is a really, really big deal for blockchain social media and Minds as a whole. And all it really says to me is that Minds, they're doing it right. They're hacking the pop culture of this. They're talking to all the right people. They're doing all the networking. I don't see that from the other platforms. I see them trying. I know Ned from Steem is doing a lot, but Bill is doing really well in terms of pop culture, and they've been making a lot of moves. They've gotten a lot of funding. There's a lot of backers now. It's very interesting to see how Minds is sort of blossoming, and I mean, I'm totally cool to see that, because I've done fairly well on Minds myself, and I highly recommend that you check it out. It is a really, really cool platform because it has basically every feature from every platform that you could possibly think of, except for live streaming, which I think they talked about bringing in eventually. So they've got pretty much everything you need. The only complaint that I have for video is that they have limited duration, because I guess they can't afford to store extremely long videos, and a lot of my videos are more than 10 minutes. So, or maybe it was 15, I can't actually remember, but a lot of my videos weren't able to be uploaded, is the simple fact of the matter. So I would just use YouTube embeds in blogs. So I'll just give you an idea. So this is actually the original blockchain review that I did. So this is kind of like a blockchain reviewception, but I would just write the blog, put my cover, put my title, drop the YouTube video embed here, because again, I can't embed from BitChute, I can't embed from BitTube. YouTube is my only option if their native video doesn't allow me to upload longer. So that's the only real complaint I have about Minds. Aside from that, it's pretty awesome. Well, and like I said earlier, it's not super blockchain integrated. I'd like to see more and more blockchain integration, but they champion free speech. They're doing a lot of good work. I've seen people complain about getting marked explicit on their channel for things that they didn't necessarily consider explicit, but I mean, when I look through those types of channels, I can usually find a lot of stuff that is like, it's borderline at best. And I'm sure who's ever making the calls on explicit tags is they have to make some decision at the end of the day. So I mean, I generally understand where they're coming from, but I'm sure there's probably some false positives at the same time, and I won't give them the complete benefit of the doubt. So again, be aware of that. But Minds has so many amazing things on it that it's easily one of the best recommended platforms by far. You've got videos, images, your blogs, groups. You can see your groups on the side here. They just released video conferencing for groups. Cool thing about groups is you've got your news feed, and then you have like a chat where you can chat with everyone in the group. They've got a lot of cool things that you don't find on every platform, or that they've just improved upon. Their messenger is encrypted, so you're not going to have You're not going to have anyone being able to read your messages from Minds. You can pin up to 3 posts, which I always thought was really cool, where you can pin these posts to the top of your feed. And then you can just have, like, you know, whichever posts that you really want to highlight as your top 3, and you can just swap it out as needed just by using this little bookmark. And so like Twitter, it would pin it to the top, but you've got 3. And you know, you've got your bio here, which has an unlimited character count. You can put your 5 major hashtags that you use, your location, and then you've got your links to everything that you want to add. I just have one link to all of my links. And then, you know, your subscribers, how many views you've got. You can boost your channel. So all the tokens that you earn on Minds can be spent on boosting your channel or your posts. And per token earns you 1,000 views worth of advertising. So say I wanted to boost my profile here on Minds, I could say for 5,000 tokens, I want to boost it, and I'll get 5,000 views for 5 tokens. And then you can go at the top here and click boost, and you can view your history of boosted posts. And this was a sidebar boost. So you can see here, I've created it. It gives me the time, I can revoke it, and the amount of views that I want to do. And they'll approve it, and it'll be good to go. They have to approve boosts since people could be putting up really sketchy stuff that they then would have to deal with. They're really good with this. I've never had any issues with my posts being refused, except one time when I was boosting a ton of posts all at once, and algorithmically it will cancel them because it thinks you're spamming. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's actually fair, because I was boosting a lot of posts. So you don't want to overdo it either, because then all of them will just get canceled and you'd have to do it again. But I mean, they don't really give you strikes or anything for denied boosts. It's more so, as long as your stuff is legal on Minds, you should be good to go. So they've done a really good job of ensuring they don't, you know, go crazy with their policing of the platform, and it's been really good from what I've seen. But yeah, so this is Minds. It's a really cool platform. Highly recommend you guys check it out. I'm sure you will see what I see, all the benefits, the robustness. It has every feature that you need. So for example, Steem doesn't have Messenger, it doesn't have groups, it only has blog. This has short format, long format, groups, blogs, Messenger, pretty much everything. You've also got a rewards section where you can list what you'll give people for sending you tokens, or they can just send you tokens, and you can set, for example, you could say, you know, you need to donate 1 token to be able to read this blog, and you can have premium content, different things like that. So it's really cool, all the amount of options and features you've got on Minds. Highly recommend you check that out. If you're gonna only go on one platform, I'd probably say just go with Minds. And I mean, that's where all of the celebrity influencers and anyone that's a really notable figure that is going on there. So Joe Rogan's on there, NASA's on there. Like, even NASA is smart enough to get on there. Regardless, the point is, all these influencers are on there, and because they're seeing how important this is. Tim Pool, my favorite reporter, he is telling people, go on Minds, this is where I'll be now. He's building out this huge news distribution platform called Subverse. Really cool. Go and check that out if you go on Minds. But because people like Tim and because people like Joe Rogan are talking about Minds and getting the word out, it makes me believe, or at least hope, that Minds is probably going to be one of the next really big platforms, because people aren't talking about Steem, and I don't see these people on Steem, and I don't see these people on Sola, and they're not talking about Sola. So if you can bet on one platform, it's probably going to be Minds. This is Hyperspace. This is very new. I just joined this like a few days ago, so these are really just my initial reactions to the platform. One thing that I was disappointed with was the only way to earn free amps, which is like their crypto, I guess. Or I guess it's more of a token. But the only way to earn it for free, like aside from making posts, but I wouldn't necessarily consider that totally free because you have to put your time in. You get every 24 hours, if you verify your phone number with them, they give you free amps. The problem is you need to have a US phone, or there were some other countries, but they didn't have Canada for some reason, so I was a little disappointed. So I couldn't earn free amps, but you can still get amps just like you would on any other blockchain social by, people upvoting whatever you're sharing, and then you'll earn amps based on that. So they're amplifying your message. I think it's a pretty interesting platform. I've gotten okay engagement considering, I've only been here for a few days and I haven't really done much. Like my first post got 242 amps from 22 people that liked it and 2 comments. And then yesterday I got 4 likes, 18 amps, and 1 comment so far. Mind you, this was all about Sola, Steem, and Mines, so I don't know if they really care that much on this platform, but we'll see going forward because I'm gonna keep checking out everything that's going on. I mean, I've got all these notifications, so that's nice to see. They approve posts on here in the same way that you would see on Tribe, which is a little unfortunate, but maybe like Tribe, they will eventually get rid of that, though I haven't seen that as a claim yet. But again, I'm so new to this platform that it's not really fair. I mean, they don't even have the ability to follow people yet, so it is ridiculously early on. That's why this was either a secondary or a tertiary recommendation, but it has a nice clean setup. There's definitely a lot of potential here, and I have no doubt in my mind that if I come back in 2 months, this platform will be really well set up. So I'm actually going to tell you guys now that I'm going to stick with this platform for at least a month to make my final verdict as to whether or not this will get merged into my daily platforms that I use. Moving on to Sola. This was one of my favorite platforms as well, right up there with Mines. Maybe a little bit less than Mines, but it's right up there. Because, I mean, hey, I've done really, really well on this platform. And obviously that's part of the reason why I like it, because I've done so well and I've had great conversations, and it's been a really interesting time. I really like the layout too. It is like an Instagram meets Twitter, where you've got cards that look kind of like Instagram, but if you click on them, you can have like a full blog basically. So I guess it's not really like Twitter, it's more like Instagram meets any blogging platform like Medium or something like that. And yeah, you can treat it like it's a blog post. You can add polls, titles, pictures, images, videos, all that stuff. And then you can share it into 3 different topics with them, your main topic and then 2 subtopics. And that's how their directory sort of works in terms of how you'll find different content, because most people don't subscribe to others, which is called a reader. So you read them, which prioritizes their posts. Even though you might prioritize people, for the most part, the way to find content is through looking through the actual topic that you want to follow. So if you're interested in politics, you would look at the politics topic and just go through the posts there. Similar to Mines, you can boost your posts, and you would just spend Sol, and you can spend up to 50 Sol for 500 views. So again, I recommend Sola as one of the top platforms because I've done so well with it and I've seen so much success with it. And I know Sola is a very interesting kind of innovative mobile first platform. I'm sure a lot of people will like the way the layout works, and you'll have a lot of fun with it because they make scrolling a little more interesting, where you skip or you endorse and you just kind of like drag your finger up to give the endorsement, and it creates a very seamless scrolling experience where you're voting while scrolling, and it's just a really good mobile experience. I'm using the desktop app most of the time. Well, not app, just the desktop browser on their website, and I've really enjoyed using it. I occasionally use the application, But yeah, I mean, it's really good that Sola has an application, Minds has an application, Steem it has several different ones that represent different platforms. So there's like Partico, eSteem. There's various ones. I would say just go with Partico if you're going to get a Steem mobile app. And for Minds, if you're on iOS, you're good to go. Just grab it from the App Store. But if you're on Google, you're going to actually want to download I guess like an open source version from their actual website, from minds.com/mobile, I believe is the link. I'll link it in there in the description below, but that's where you'd want to go to check that out. So this is Sola, really, really cool platform. Highly, highly recommend. Now let's look at Doc.io. So Doc.io is basically your blockchain version of LinkedIn, and it's not fully done because right now there's not really any effective way to interact with other people. But what you can start off by doing is you can create your platform, or I guess your page, your resume, because again, this is basically LinkedIn, and you can import a lot of this from LinkedIn, which is really nice. And then you come here and you'd rate like how many years of experience you have in certain skills, a bunch of things like that. And the only difference from this and LinkedIn, more or less, is whether or not you can interact with other people. So, you know, people can't endorse your skills. You can't post on a timeline. People can't like your profile or like what you're doing or anything like that. It is very bare bones for now. But what they're trying to do, I mean, actually, I'll mention this tool. This is really cool because it can find where else you have your identity, like your Twitter account, your Facebook account. It can find all of your accounts and also even scrape information off of them and allow you to use that information to improve your profile. So it'll take like your summaries and different things like that. In case you don't want to go around looking for it, this can actually help you just grab all that. They also allow you to double check your email and your password to ensure that you've got no issues. And it checks all these different platforms. So it's a really cool extra feature set that they've got there for you. What's really interesting moving forward for Doc.io is that they're going to be partnering with all these companies to build like a super built out app. And essentially Doc.io would be the base app, and then everything else would offer different solutions. So for example, Endorse is, well, it's an Ethereum based decentralized professional network, but something interesting there is that you can get recommendations and endorsements for your skills, which you can't get on Doc.io. So when you use them in conjunction, they complement each other, and that's generally the idea of what all these platforms are going to do. So like CanWork is where you can find other freelancers and work with them. There's a lot of different options that you have available that you can use, and Doc.io is the only real solution that I've seen as a great replacement for LinkedIn. Obviously, though, working with a lot of these apps, it will get to the next level, and it will become the main replacement for LinkedIn indefinitely. Or unquestionably. I guess I can't really say indefinitely. It's a little bit of a clunkier setup. It's not the cleanest design, but they have some great features. And like, for example, when I go to my profile, this looks really weird. There's nothing here. There's no cover. They don't have just like my actual name. They just have my username. And if I go to my actual channel, which is different from your profile apparently, yeah, they also have really long load times too, which isn't the greatest. I really don't put BitChute in the best light with these videos, but BitChute is a really, really great platform that has made my life a lot easier in terms of uploading content to blockchain, because what BitChute has that most platforms don't have, and I can't even get to my channel apparently, so I'm just going to give up on that. What it has that most platforms do not have is that it'll auto upload and take everything perfectly from your YouTube video and automatically upload it here. So all of the views and engagements I've gotten have really just been from an automatic process. I haven't actually had to work any extra to have this happen, aside from originally setting it up. And then I can just go through and answer any comments, but you don't have to worry too much about getting your uploads out and trying to keep up with everything else that you're doing, because you're only really going to need to worry about, dealing with comments and different things like that on BitTube. But again, it is a bit clunky, it is a bit slow, it can have issues, but they've got some really useful mechanisms in place for you to take advantage of. And I mean, I get okay engagement considering I haven't really promoted this or done much here, 35 views. I mean, it's not very much, but it's better than BitTube, for example, which we're going to look at right now. So yeah, the community on BitChute is smaller, but it's not insignificant. When we look at BitTube, though, we do have a problem. BitTube's community is a little too small right now. These are the top videos, and some of them only have, 700, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 78, 96, 59. So obviously you can see that it's not a super popular platform. There's not a lot of people using it and engaging on it, but it is pretty interesting. It's got a lot of cool options. Again, it's a little clunky, similar to, oh wow, I'm not even logged in. It's a little clunky, similar to BitChute, but it doesn't have the same loading issues that BitChute has, and it does have the ease of being able to automatically upload videos. Here, let me just show you. Whenever I want to upload a new video, I can just import it directly from YouTube, which is really nice. It's weird that these thumbnails aren't showing up. Again, like it's not, a lot of these apps aren't perfect. Okay, yeah, so now it's showing. But yeah, so a lot of these apps aren't perfect, but they definitely are good solutions for what we had before. The unfortunate thing is that with BitChute and BitTube, you can't really use their embeds or links to really do much. So like, Medium, Google, not Google, Medium, Minds, Steem, Waku, Whaleshares, all these platforms, if I tried to embed one of these posts, it wouldn't work. So I have to still use YouTube, unfortunately, whereas I would prefer to just stick to a blockchain platform if it was viable. But either way, I'm uploading my content on every platform, more or less. So you can upload things directly, or like I said, you can go to YouTube and you can directly import them. So given I haven't done this yet, I'm just going to show you how easy it is. So I mean, we're not going to wait around, but essentially it's just going to automatically upload by itself now. You don't even have to stick around, and eventually it will show up right here and you'll be good to go. So I do recommend BitTube in terms of, it's easy. It's not something to neglect, but it has a very small community. So if you don't want to go on a ton of different platforms, this might not be for you, because you do have to still import your videos, whereas BitChute, for example, you can just click one button and in forever it will always upload your videos from YouTube. With this, you do have to occasionally come on and actually hit import. Not much more work, but when you're getting 1 view, 3 views, 4 views, it's a little tedious. But I mean, I'm getting more views than I was before when I was getting only 1 view. I mean, it's very insignificant, but again, this platform is got a very small community, so I am just establishing myself, and when the design and or community greatly improves, I will focus on this much more. And that's generally what you should be doing too, and that's kind of the whole point of this video. Given that this was so ridiculously long, I'm not going to go and look at Sapien and all the others. They're okay. I mean, I explain everything in the blog. I'm going to end it here because this has probably easily been 40 minutes, if not longer. and it's going to be a struggle and a half for me to go through and edit this. So I'm going to get to that now. Let me know what you think of all of this. What is your favorite platform? If you could only use 3, let us know in the comments what you would use. What are you using now? If you could only use 1, which one would it be? Let us know in the comments. Also, feel free to share your accounts on any of these platforms in the comments. Like, hey, I'm on Minds too, share your Minds account. I won't consider any of that as spam. Feel free to share. I'd also really, really like to hear about any blockchain platforms that I have never covered. If you can share that with me, I would be so thankful, and I will 100% review it and get to it and check it out. But I mean, if your platform is really, or the platform that you're recommending is very, very, very basic, very beta, very bad, it's not going to look the greatest because I'm going to write on my recommendation that people shouldn't use it. But I mean, if you're just using a platform or you heard of something or whatever, feel free to just drop it in and I'll let you know what I think about it. So let me know everything in the comments. I'm really interested to hear from you guys. Super tired after a long day, and I still wanted to get this out, and this was kind of long, so I hope I don't sound too dull or dreary. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and also let me know what you think about me not wearing a hat for this episode. Let me know in the comments below. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.